Yes, yes, bro. What's happening, bro?
Yes, yes, bro. How are you? You good?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Just living, getting on with things, you know. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Can't complain. Just coming from work, so I'm a bit in a rush mode, but I'm all sweet, man.
Mm-hmm. No, it's all right, bro.
But
No worries.
yeah,
Hopefully we can get this popping.
yeah, man. We'll give it a couple seconds just to let people
Yeah.
join up, and then we'll get straight into it. But how's your day been?
Good, you know. To be fair, I've been working, so got a few projects that I'm planning personally. Like just
Nice.
like interviews. So if anybody knows, I do a podcast. So I've got a few guests that I'm sorting out and just lining up the dates and things like that. So it's gonna be sick, man. Got some
Love that.
footballers and some other people. So yeah, it's gonna be decent, man.
Yeah, love that. If you don't already follow Lamar, make sure you give him a follow after, and because he's got some good content out there, and like he said, he's bringing out some great stuff in the near future. But yeah, let's get into this, bro. So in terms of where it all started for you in football, maybe let's take it back to the beginning and yeah,
Jesus, you're
let
going
us
back
know how
far,
you
bro.
got. Say that again.
I said you're going back far. You came back far. All right, cool.
But yeah,
So my
just kind of
first
tell us
beginnings
how.
of yeah. So my first beginnings of football was I played for West Ham as a kid. So I was in the academy from the age of 9 all the way up till I was 19. Like played with some amazing players and stuff like that. And got released by Sam Allardyce at the age of 19. Went to a few other clubs after that. But then it didn't really go too good. Confidence was low, mental health started kicking in and things like that. And then I had a chance to go to Olympiacos. I was out there and enjoying some fun out there. Then I came back and then unfortunately ripped my ACL in my right knee. After that, the rehabs just weren't, it never did anything. The strengthening of my leg just weren't there. Do you know what I mean? So every time I would sit on a football pitch or whatever it was, my knee would get wobbly. I may like try to like do sharp turns and there was one time I went on the pitch, it was like an influencer game and I was there and literally I was on there for like 3 seconds, did a little jockey, and as I did the jockey, my knee literally just collapsed straight underneath me. So then
Okay,
obviously I was just like, okay, cool, like I need to find something different. Like I need to find something that can keep me going.
bro. But before we get into all the presenting stuff, can I just bring it back to
Yeah.
the West Ham stuff? So yeah, so in terms of West Ham, obviously you said you were signed from 9. Before that, was you at any grassroots clubs, or was West Ham kind of
Yeah,
your
yeah.
first? So yeah, maybe talk us
So
through some of the grassroots clubs that you.
grassroots club I was at was a club called Pella.
Okay.
Now, if anybody lived in South London, they'll know who Pello is. Like, we won the most craziest things you could think of. Before that, I was with Dulwich Hamlet doing like some of their school stuff, like the schoolboy stuff. And I don't know if you remember, like back in the day, they used to do these like summer schemes, summer
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that. And yeah, so I used to join a couple of those. And from there, man, it just got lifted off, and we just ended up, you know, getting into
All
West
right.
Ham from
So
grassroots.
yeah, in terms of West Ham now, and that first initial experience when you went on the trial and they kind of offered you the
Mhm.
first deal. How was that feeling?
To be honest with you, it was a funny one because at the time I had Crystal Palace, Arsenal, West Ham, and it might have been Charlton at the time. So a lot of like London clubs. So
Yeah.
at the time, I'm like, I'm a young kid just enjoying football, and I've got some of the biggest academies in the world that you can think of wanting me. So when I signed for West Ham, it was one of those things where it was I won't say hard, but it was hard. It was kind of confusing because a part of me wanted to go Arsenal, and at the
Yeah.
time at the time I was with my cousin, which is called Blair Turgott. He's currently playing in Sweden at the moment, and me and him, we kind of did everything together. Like we're talking from Pello days together, and then all of a sudden that now we've both got the same clubs after us. And he chose West Ham at the time, and obviously with my parents and stuff like that work, you know what black parents are like, and they're very, very strict when it comes to education and stuff like that. So it was like my dad was like, you know, whatever's gonna make it easier for you to be able to do the both. So West Ham became just a better choice. But in terms of feeling, that was the best feeling in the world. Like you're a young kid getting signed for a club. You can't really complain, do you know what I mean?
No, for sure. And yeah, man. So obviously you're at West Ham, and like you said, you're there for a good 10 years. So
Mhm.
how was your overall experience at the club? Obviously being there for so long.
Of course. So where I am as a presenter now. So the reason why I'm going on with this is because I feel for me, there's many things in academies and clubs that are missing. So my time there was kind of like mixed emotions. So sometimes I was on a high, sometimes I was on a low, because you got to remember, as a child or as a kid, you're not living a normal life. A lot of people look at young kids playing for these clubs and it's not normal. Like, my friends can do sleepovers, I can't. My friends can go out to certain times, I can't. After school, I've got to be, training. My friends are out there having fun. So in your head, it's kind of like, at such a young age, you're part of sacrifices 24/7. And as a young kid, it's hard to register that in your brain. Do you know what I mean? It's hard because, again, that kid instinct in you is saying, yo, no, I want to go out and play with my friends. I want to go out the cage. I want to do. But now you're like, no, I've got training today. I have to go there. And where I was training was in East London. So if anybody knows, like, West Ham very well, so they train in Little Heath and Chadwell Heath and those places. And I lived in South London at the time. So as soon as school's done, I'm all the way up there. And then by the time I'm home, it's 9 o'clock. Now I've got to quickly eat, go to bed, and then wake up to, like, God knows what time in the morning to now go to school. And then the next day, got to do it all over again. So, like, I think it's just more mixed emotions to be a part of an academy, to be honest with you.
No, for sure. And yeah, bro. So in terms of, like you said, at 19, you got kind of released. And how did you, obviously being at the club for so long, how was that experience of knowing that I'm no longer part of West Ham? I got to try and find a new adventure or a new journey.
Yeah. It was more or less, for me, there was kind of like some political things that happened before that. So it was kind of like bittersweet in a way, because it was kind of like, okay, I'm free. I can try and see if I can now control my own career and go do what I want to go do somewhere else. But then it's like, I'm leaving, like, friends that I've known since I was 9 years old. Like, a lot of the players that made it to 19 with me signed with me on the same day that I signed at 9 years old. So I grew up with these people since I was, like, for 10 years. I've known these people. So I'm losing friends. I'm losing friends that have become family. You develop relationships with coaches and things like that. So it was kind of like a bittersweet moment. But overall, it was more kind of depressing more than anything.
So yeah, in terms of that now, you said you've let your emotions out and those feelings are there. But did you feel straight away ready to, like you said, go Olympiacos and try and kick on and get back into it? 100%. Or was there a down period?
Nah, no down period. Straight away after that, I was just straight on it. I was just like, you know what? What people need to understand is, being a footballer, you only get, I would say, a maximum 2 chances. If not, you only get 1. So it's like, for me, I knew one door closes, another one always opens somewhere. So I knew, no, it's work time. And as soon as I was done, I mean, I had an agent at the time. I said to him, look, what do we do? Where do I go? How am I going to go about it? And whatever. And he said, just give me time. In the meantime, do your training and we'll sort it out. And we sorted out a few bits and pieces, but it was more or less, I think it was 2 to 3 weeks afterwards, was where the depression and the mental health kicked in. Like, really, really, really kicked in.
So in terms of that, what do you mean by the mental health? How did it kind of affect you at that time?
At the time, you go from, so scholarship money wasn't that much, but to a 17, 18-year-old who didn't come from much, it's a lot. So I was able to, like personal problems with my friends, I was able to bail them out of so many different little things. I was able to, pay for certain things for my dad at the time, which was going through health problems and things like that. And for me, it was kind of like, I felt like I let my family down.
Yeah.
I let my friends down. And most importantly, I let myself down. And I'm one of the biggest critics of myself. And I think you know him personally, Chris Hollidge.
Yeah.
He's put in, like, he was a teacher, but he was a mentor to me at the same time. And now he's become like a big brother to me. Most importantly, I felt like I also let him down. Because some of the things that he's done for me, you can't repay. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that you just can't get back. So I just felt a bit like a failure, and a bit of like, I let down some important people. Do you know what I mean?
No, for sure. So how, in terms of that feeling and that state, how long did you kind of feel like that before you started to feel back on the up and back like, yeah, I'm ready?
To be honest with you, I would easily say it was probably about 2 years, 2-3 years. simply because at the time my first child was born. So it was like, I'm like, rah, I released from West Ham. No more money's flowing in. I've done some dumb stuff, spending my money on dumb rubbish. How am I going to look after my son?
Yeah.
So through that whole time, my head's just spinning. And then my dad got diagnosed with cancer. And then he passed away. No, it's life, do you know what I mean? It happens. But yeah, he got diagnosed with cancer. And then on my son's first birthday, 4 days later, my dad passes away. So now I'm like gone from losing a career to then now losing my dad. So I've lost something personal to me as a person. Then I've now lost a mentor, a father figure, a man who's going to show me what life is in such a short space of time. Do you know what I mean? So with that feeling, it was just like, I couldn't get over it for 2 to 3 years, genuinely.
No, definitely. Now that you're opening up to that, it kind of makes a lot more sense. But yeah, in terms of playing now and getting on the pitch, like you said, Olympiacos never worked, and then you had a couple more trials before you got injured. So maybe just talk us through when you got injured, kind of that feeling in your head, and did you think you had another chance of coming back from this injury and still kicking on, or for you was that, yeah, it's done?
Never in my head it's done. It was more or less the fact of, I got one big mountain to climb right now. Like this mountain is not small. This is something that is going to be a journey over time.
Yeah.
This is what a lot of people need to understand. That a lot of people get the instant feeling and they think that's life. Whereas I've always been taught life is a journey, and you need to take brick by brick, step by step to get to where you want to be. So when I done my ACL, it was more, it's funny because I didn't even know I did it. When it first happened, I didn't even know I did it. So I'll never forget, I was playing, jumped up for a header, dropped back down, boom. I just felt a pain hit me like no other. Not no torn cartilage. This is something for real. And he was like, no, on the X-ray. I said, no, forget this. So because I was a part of West Ham, we were lucky enough to get be a part of the PFA. So I called the PFA and I said, yes, I called them and I said to them, look, I feel an awkward pain in my knee. I need to see a specialist. Like I don't mind paying for it if I have to. Just please let me know what it is. They said, no worries, we've got you covered. So I went to the medical, which was like what, a month later, maybe a month and a half later. So I'm in a month and a half worth of pain, not knowing what it is. And then I got there and the manager said to me, I'm going to be honest with you, you've ripped your ACL. And not just torn it, fully ruptured. So now in my head, I've gone, like damn. Partially torn is one thing, fully rupturing is another. And he just said to me, look, this is going to be about a year's worth of rehab, like genuinely. At the time now, with what the question you was asking, I'm now faced with, do I go forward in life and be a dad? So I'm able to be there for my kids and do what I need to do? Or do I take a year off from being a dad because I can't do certain things and move in certain ways and get this knee right? So big back and forth with the mother of my kids. She just said to me, look, go do your rehab, go do your operation, get it done, and then we'll figure out the next step afterwards. And then after all of that, it was just more or less, okay, maybe it's done. I did have that feeling for about 2 to 3 months of in my head, maybe this is done.
Bro, just to quickly answer the question that's down below, just explain what PFA is for the people at home that don't know what it is.
Okay. So the PFA is something called the Players Football Association, which basically once you become a part of an academy, you now you sign a scholar, you become automatically a member of the PFA. Now the PFA looks after certain players who are now released and also are currently players at the moment. So like again, medical health reasons, I can get certain medical health private if I have to. Educate, let's say I'm trying to get a second chance in education or university or something like that, I can go to them and they'll help me out to find whatever grade I may need to get there or whatever it is. Just multiple things basically to be like a support system for players.
So
if cool, that explains it the best.
I think that's quite a short and sharp explanation. So that's sweet. But yeah, bro. So back to it in terms of the knee, and we're out injured. At what stage did you now start to switch off football and switch on that my pathway might now be presenting? Because obviously in terms of the presenting you do, they do interlink. So
Yeah.
obviously, just talk us through that.
My second son. So I had my second born, and now I'm like, okay, money's important. My money's running low here. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm faced with, like, the mother of my kids was doing everything. She was trying to figure it all out. She was trying to, and I was just like, I can't put, as a man, for me, I can't put a mum in that position. I need to be there to look after my kids the way I need to as a man. So therefore, in my head, it was like, it's not done, but I need to find something else for just in case reasons. Now, I don't necessarily...
At this point, how old was you, bro? Just to ask, because...
21, maybe 21, 22. About
okay,
21, 22. So in my head, I've just gone to myself, look, I don't believe in plan Bs. I don't. However, when you have other mouths to feed, you have to have some sort of safety net that's gonna take you there. So I thought to myself, you know what? Let me find something else. And yeah, I just went into finding something different.
Okay, and yeah, like you said, going into find something else. Why presenting? Why was that the thing that you kind of got into?
That, to be honest with you, I didn't look for it. It found me. It was one of those things where I was doing YouTube at the time, and I thought to myself, I want to build. I was building a website based on helping young pros and young players get recognized more, and it was called Platform First at the time. So, like, again, it's your first platform. That was the play on words. So I thought to myself, okay, cool. Content's changing. It's not blogging no more. It's not writing no more. What's the next thing? And I came across Poet and Vooge, which was doing Copper 90 and everything like that. And I was like, do you know what? I'll be good at that, you know? And I thought, let me try and see if I can do this in my own company. So I did a few videos and stuff and created a few series. And then from that moment, I got a friend who works at ProDirect, or who worked at ProDirect. And he just said to me, look, there's an opening for ProDirect and for a company called 442. They're looking for a presenter, somebody to just come in and literally just do football. You don't have to worry about doing anything else. Just literally just do football and see where it goes. I was like, no, I don't know. Like, I don't know what. He was like, look, the money ain't great at first, but if you keep going, you'll be in a position where you're able to live life nice. So I was like, do you know what? Just because you're my friend, you've given me this opportunity. I'm just gonna say, do you know what? You put a word in for me. I'm gonna stick to whatever you've done as your friend, and I'm gonna go do it. I didn't really care if I got it or not. I'll be honest with you. So I went there and we did kind of like a boot test. It was, I think it was for a Puma football boot, and we did that. And literally a day later, I got a call saying that you got it.
Nice. But yeah, maybe just talk to us about the type of presenting you do, and kind of, because obviously from looking at your Instagram, I see that you've traveled the world through presenting. You've been at some of the biggest tournaments, festivals. So obviously there's still a very good market and industry in what you're doing. So maybe just talk us through all of that.
Yeah. So for me, it's been up and down. So at first I didn't really understand how media worked. So media and what people see are two different things. It's like, it's people need to understand, media controls the narrative to every story you see. So by that I mean it controls the product being sold, it controls how football's being perceived, and I didn't really understand any of that. Like, I'll be totally honest with you, didn't get it. So I went in as just to learn the trade, be around people, and at 442 I'm so thankful for them, because they gave me opportunities that I've never ever been able to have before, interviewing people like I think Victor Wanyama, Philip Coutinho, Willian, Mustafi, Chamberlain, like players like I can name players all day long. So it was like, okay, cool, this is how they're marketing football boots, and oh, this is how a player gets his brand out, or oh, this is how, let's say Nike's dropped the new what do they call it, the new train, let's just say the new training gear. Oh, this is how people are buying it. So I started to understand that this isn't necessarily just fun anymore. Like, this is an actual full-blown business. Like, people are like, this is how they, so with marketing, it's like one of those things where you got advertising, you got marketing. And I realized advertising is like your billboards and stuff like that, but marketing is something that you get hands-on with, like your customer base and the people who watch your stuff. So I thought, okay, cool. So now I understand it from this standpoint. I now know where I need to make my money, or I know where I can be influential, if that's the best way to put it. And then at that time, it was transitioning from football being the main aspect to now the football players being the main aspect. So I was like, I want to be for the players. Because for me, when I was growing up, I don't know about you, I remember being at a playground and I'd be score a goal and I'm like, Gerard! And I'm like, oh, Beckham! Like, oh, Gerard, your friends are like, oh, you're not Gerard, I'm Gerard. So I'm just like, all right, cool. So I'm getting it. I'm starting to think, so they're trying to get into the kids' minds and how the kids work. So I was like, okay, now I understand this business. So from 442, something happened between me and 442 where we just weren't seeing eye to eye, because some of the stuff that they were doing was more like the training stuff and weren't necessarily about the culture of football. And I now was starting to figure out who I wanted to be. And I realized that I want to be the man in the culture of football. So that's when I was like, I need to figure out something different. And my friend at the time, who I was telling you about, brought me into to 442. He took me to an Adidas event, my first ever event I've ever seen, which was the F2 freestylers event. And they had like a 3-day event, and they had players down there, boots down there. They had, like, when I mean everything you can think of. My friend was like, yeah, come in VIP. I was like, what? These times I'm like, what, 19, 20, 20, like, well, no, 20, 20, 20, 21. So I'm like, VIP? I've never been in VIP unless I've been a footballer. Like, what are you on about? He was like, yeah, come in there. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm in there now. I'm chilling with everybody. And I'm like, oh, yeah. He's like, come. I want you to talk to somebody. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm quite uncomfortable now because I'm in VIP and I'm thinking, hold on, that's what's it called? Wanyama and that's this person and that's Dom Solanke at the time. I shouldn't be in here. He goes, no, just come. So I was like, cool. He goes, this is Ben, this is Lamar. I'm like, oh, how you doing? You okay? Shaking hands, everything. So he asked me, what do I do? So I said, right now I'm currently at 442, but I also do a bit of YouTube, boot testing, He goes, okay, here's my card. What I want you to do is email me tomorrow about all the things that you do and everything. So I didn't really pay no mind. At this time, I didn't even know what networking was. So I got home, and the next day I got up, looked at the card, and I was like, wait, this is the head PR of Adidas. Now, if anybody works in media, don't worry about the brand itself. You worry about the PRs that work in PR. I was like, wait, this is my ticket. So I emailed him and said to him, look, I'm doing boots, and he sent me the boots over. Literally 6 o'clock the same day I emailed him. I emailed him at 9 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the evening, I hear dum, 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 dum. I'm like, who the hell is this? Like, I'm cooking dinner. I open the door. I'm like, wait, Adidas package, big box, boom, boom, boom. I said, wait, what? And these times it was the blacked out Adidas Predators that's literally just been released that not many people can get. I said, wait. I said, all right, cool. I'm understanding this thing. So I emailed him and said, look, I want to do more. Literally within the next few months, he called me and said, look, we've got this, I think it was Champions League final coming up. We've got a youth Champions League sort of like five-a-side thing. We want you to come and host it. I ain't ever done hosting in a live thing before. Everything I've done was being pre-recorded. I went there and bro, I just fell in love with it, bro. Like fell in love with just the vibe of everybody just looking at me as the main person that's making their day, or Adidas looking at me like the person who's selling their product for them. And before you know it, kids are saying, oh, like, you're Lamar Aaron, oh, you're Lamar Aaron, you're Lamar. And literally the vibe just started to be created from then. I was like, I need to be in the culture of football.
No, definitely. And I think influencers and YouTubers in today's market are very, very big and influential. So like you said, being in that field is probably a very good look for you. But 100%. in terms of when you were meeting all these stars and players at the time, how was that feeling of, yes, I was on the other side and I was playing with some of these boys coming on to and stuff like that. How did that feeling feel of, like, Coutinho, for example? He's one of the biggest players in the world.
100%.
So having that experience.
Weird, bro. Weird. Because, again, I'm used to playing against or playing alongside these people. Now I'm like, oh, I feel a little bit embarrassed because I used to be there, but now I'm the one interviewing you. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a bit embarrassing. But then but then you get past that and you realize but they're just like, they're my friends. Like, I've known them for years. Do you know what I mean? So when I was interviewing, the interviews felt more like a conversation more than an actual interview.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, a lot of people, you get like the same questions every single time, and oh, so what's your morning routine? Oh, so when you're training, who's the funniest in the changing room? I was like, nah, but these guys are my friends. I want to ask you, what are you doing off pitch? What's your fashion style like? What do you do on your days off? Oh, you're a young dad. Oh, how's that? I'm a young dad as well. Like, how is that? So when people are watching, they're now looking at it and they're going, ah, he's a star, but these two look like they've been friends forever. So now I started to realize it's organic. And that's what, for me, presenting needs to be. That's what interviews should be. Everything should be organic. Nothing should be forced. Because at the end of the day, like I said to you, everything's about selling a product. When you're interviewing these stars, once you get over the hurdle of being embarrassed of where I was, bro, it just became literally like clockwork. Literally just like...
And you know what I noticed? Obviously, over the last couple of days, I've been doing the whole Instagram lives with some of the pros and stuff like that. And I noticed when you talk to them, when you relate to them as friends or as normal people, they respect you a lot more.
100%.
If that makes sense. They're rather
100%.
having that awkward fan sort of relationship where it doesn't have to be that, because at the end of the day, every footballer is human.
And that's what I represent. As a presenter, I'm bringing out the fact that these people are literally like me and you. Genuinely like me and you. The only difference is that they play football.
Yeah.
But they have families like we do. Their football is their job. They do normal things on a day-to-day, like play FIFA, play Call of Duty. Like, I just did a YouTube live with Ryan Fredericks from West Ham. Now, everybody was like, what? But what people need to understand is that's his normal, that's what he's doing in isolation.
Yeah.
So why not bring that out in your media? Why not bring that out to the fans for people to see? Because like I said, it's not necessarily about the clubs no more. It's about the players themselves. And when you interact with a player like that, again, they just look at you like you're their friend. They respect you more and they're more comfortable around you. Now, me and Ryan Fredericks are becoming like boys.
Yeah.
Simply off of one thing. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's important to just be yourself, talk to somebody as if they're your friends, and don't fan out, if that makes sense.
100%. So yeah, bro, in terms of, obviously you're presenting, maybe tell us about some of the biggest occasions that you've been involved in. And because I'm telling you, there's young people that will watch this back maybe, and they'll be like, you know what, I might not make it as a footballer, but there's still jobs within football that can take me to the highest places. So, for example, me, I played football for most of my life at a high level, and there was a time where I realized or thought that, like you said, it might be a big uphill task now. So that's why I got into coaching and that side of things. And with me, my thing is, as long as I'm in football, I'm happy. That's just me. Like, I just want to be in football. So it didn't really matter if it was playing, like you're doing, presenting, if it's coaching, if it's as long as you're in the game, I feel like that's my purpose. So yeah, man, just talk to us about the biggest occasions you've had, because like I said, there's young people out there that it could inspire and give a change of job and what they want to do when they're a little bit older.
Of course. So for me, like, if anybody's watched what I've done, for me, what I'm about to say isn't got nothing to do with a player at all. Like, and I can tell you a list of players I've interviewed. I can go through Jesse Lingard, like I said, William, Coutinho. I can go through lists. Best thing I've ever done was an Adidas event called Nemesis Uprising, and I co-hosted with the F2 Freestylers. Now, I could easily say at least 200 to 300 people in the building. At least 200 to 300 people in the building. All eyes are on me. And I'm the one who's made their whole day come. That Adidas, everybody looked at me and they were like, nah, you belong here. And I'm talking about, like, football players came. I think Hernandez was there. Like it was probably one of the biggest events I've ever been a part of. And after that, I realized like, wow, like you said, there is a life after football. Like there is something else I can do. Also, I'll say another one was an interview I did with Gareth Bale in Madrid. I flew to Madrid and did an interview there. I think I was there for like, oh, bro, literally one of the best experiences. Like, if you see the Real Madrid training ground, and then all of a sudden but like you're there and they're treating you like you're
the specialty.
You're the star. Like you're the, do you know what I'm saying? Bro, do you want water? Do you want this? Do you want that? I'm like, like I'm like thinking I'm not that special. Like I'm a normal guy from South London. Do you know what I mean? But then you're looking at it and you're going, bro, no, there is a life after football. Like I'm loving this, and this is where I belong. Another one I would say, which, okay, so those were the highest I would say. But the one that was most fun was a boot test I did with New Balance. Now we got the train to, I think it was Lille, and we did a training play test and everything at Lille. All the influencers were there and everything like that, and everyone's recording and everyone, like, you just feel like a star, man. Like genuinely, with all these things, it's things that I can't even. When I did my ACL, I could not imagine me there. Could not imagine me doing any of those things. So like you said, man, anybody out there that is trying to figure out a second career after football, I'm telling you, it's not over. Like it really isn't over. Like you got to look at F2 freestylers, look at SE Dons, look at like you got normal people making a life of playing football on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like that's not, for me back in the day, that would never happen. That wasn't even an option.
Bro,
now,
even stuff like the YouTube players have more followers than certain professionals that are in the Prem, and they might not be at the biggest club, but you're a Prem player and a YouTube team has more followers. Do you know what I mean? The world's going crazy in terms of that and the influence that it has on people. So that's very big. But yeah, bro, in terms of...
That's what people need to do more often. I want people to open their eyes out and realize, do you know what? Life happens for a reason. Things are happening day to day, and you have two options. You can take it in a negative way, or you can take it in a positive way. That's literally all you got. So I got taught this. It's either you can sulk about the problem, or you can solve the problem. Which one do you want to be and which one do you want to do? And I just realized, bro, I'm going to solve the option. I'm going to solve the problem, and whatever's going to come from it is going to come from it. And you know what? It will be for me. And the one thing I want people to understand, I'm not necessarily religious, but I believe in timing. I believe in the universe's timing. Yeah. And timing, when it happens, it happens. You know what I mean?
Bro, your energy is nice, man. And I love this chat, because it's just real. But yeah, in terms of, obviously, I know you do a lot of presenting now for West Ham again. So
yeah,
maybe talk to us about how that came about and how you feel.
Life is 360, my bro. Like life is 360. When I mean 360, this is the maddest story I'm going to give you. I get released by West Ham at the age of 19. I think it was West Ham's 100 and something birthday. It was like a big thing. And I get this email and the guy goes, oh, we want you to do a voiceover. It's for a certain... I said, well, what type of voiceover is it? What do you want me to do? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, it's for West Ham's 100 and something birthday. Imagine I said to him, look, I'm a single father. I have 2 kids on my own. I have to take one of my sons because he's not at school right now. I got to do the 100 and something birthday for a club I got released from. I got to do that with my son watching. My son was in the room while I'm doing that voiceover at West Ham Stadium. Now, I easily could have said, I can moan about the problem, sulk about the problem, and not do nothing about it. But I didn't. I solved the problem, and now look, life's 360. Then I'm now able to have a show with them called The Link Up, where I get to talk to players how I want to talk to players. Like that, for me, that should show people life comes back. Things will happen for you. It's literally just as long as you stay the course, life will figure itself out for you.
No, that's very big, bro. But yeah, in terms of that now, in terms of when you speak to these players, like you said, I know that you're past that feeling away, but obviously being at West Ham and the club it started at, do you feel a certain way when you're there, when you're around these players? And some of them, you might be interviewing players that you physically were playing with. So
yeah,
how's that feeling?
I'm used to it now. Like if this was to ever happen, like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, at the start of the presenting stuff, it would have been different. But now, because I'm used to interviewing players and getting used to things and stuff like that, like I'll go back there and there's staff members that were there from when I was there. And it's like, oh, Lamar, how are you? Like, how you been? Oh, I see you've been doing loads of stuff. We watch you on LinkedIn. We watch you on social media. Like, you're doing really well. Like, we're really, really proud of you. And it's just like that bitter feeling of, and I'm going to be real, of F you, West Ham. Like, I don't want nothing to do with you no more. You ruin my life and whatever it was to now. Like, this club's still a part of me. This still club.
Yeah.
Like, if I was to support a second team, it's West Ham, hands down. So it's not necessarily a weird feeling. It was more of a comfortable feeling. It felt like a second home again still, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and bro, in terms of you've had a lot of highs, a lot of lows. You've spoken about it, and it's amazing to hear. For any young footballers out there, any young people that are looking to get into, sometimes it doesn't have to be a footballer, but they're looking to get into the sport of football, whether it's a journalist and all the other occupations we spoke about. What would your advice be to them?
I'm so glad you asked me this question, bro, because I have this conversation with, I never forget, I was doing an event for ProDirect, and all these little kids were coming up to me and they were like, oh, what is it you do? Da, 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 da. And one kid goes, I've seen you before. I said, well, where did you see me? Because I saw you on 442. I said, well, what did you watch? I watched your tutorial with Philip Coutinho. And he was like, how are you getting to do this? And I said, look, what you've got to realize is, again, understand, first of all, this is going to be a journey. It is not going to happen straight away. You're not going to get everything you want right now. You're not going to feel like you're the man right now. Understand that, first of all. Second of all, make a plan, stick to your plan, stay the course. I don't care if life is giving you the worst time of your life, stay the course. No matter what, you do not ever give up, because I believe in, for me, you have to go through the bad to know what good is. For me, it's like when you look at the world is balanced. You got night, you got day. You got dark, you got light. You got up, you got down. You got left, you got right. It's always two sides of something. How would you know what good feels like if you've never ever been through anything? So for me, understand that bad times are going to come, but when they come, what you got to do is, how do I solve the problem? Become a problem solver. So if I break it down into 3 things, I would always say, stay the course no matter what. I don't care if life throws you the worst. You figure that out, but you stay the course. The second one would be, what did I say first?
You said stay the course.
I said stay the course. There was understand that bad times are going to come regardless.
Yeah.
And the third thing is understand that it's a journey, and you're not going to be there until the timing is right for you to be there. Plain and simple. Also, for a footballer now, because you're a coach, so I will give whatever I can to a young footballer. I would say, find your position, know who you are, don't lie to yourself, don't trick yourself. Because for me, I would sit there and I would go, oh yeah, I'm a winger. No, you're not. Because your attributes of who you are, you're not a winger no more. You need to look at yourself and ask yourself, what is your attributes? What are you strong at? And I realized what I was strong at is my brain in football was another level. I realized, because my brother, like, when he watches football, the guy's mad. Like, he dissects football in different ways, triangles and this. Oh, why is he hitting? My brother's always taught me, when you watch football, don't watch football for fun. Watch football to understand what is going on. So, like, even when footballers doing certain runs and stuff like that, you got to ask yourself why. When you see Xabi Alonso do like a 60-yard ping, why has he done it? It isn't to look fancy. It's because he's putting someone in a 2v1 situation and those types of things. So for me, always know who you are, know what your attributes are, and master it. My mum's always told, I think it was either my mum or my dad, what's it called? People are a jack of all trades, but a master at none.
Yeah.
A lot of people can do loads of stuff, and that's great. But what's the point if you don't master something? All the best people, the most successful people, all are masters at their craft and masters at what they do. For me, till the day I die, I'm researching on how I can be the best presenter possible. How can I bring the best conversations out of people? So if I'm a young footballer, let's say I'm a striker, how can I get more goals? Okay, cool. How is this this striker getting 25 goals a season? Oh, he's always in the box. When he moves, he stays in between the lines of the box. Oh, what does peeling off the shoulder mean? Okay, cool. I want to work on my left foot, right foot. Oh, okay, cool. What type of strikers are there? You got your false nines, you got your hold-up players, you got your finishers, do you know what I mean? So if you don't master your trade, you might as well kiss it all goodbye. So for me, know who you are, know your role, and master it. Plain and simple.
Nah, bro, that's excellent, man. That is big.
No, because think about
Yeah.
it. You're a coach, right? You're a coach. And you probably get loads of kids that come up to you, right? And they'll probably be like, oh, I want to be like Neymar. Or, oh, I want to be like this person, that person, this person. But then when you watch them play football,
you're like, no,
you're nowhere near it, bro.
You're going to be, you know what I mean?
You're nowhere near it.
You might even see someone else in them.
Right. So as a coach, sometimes you got to say, I'm going to be real with you, Jacob, or I'm going to be real with you, Jason, or whoever you're going to be training, your attributes fit this person. Now, if I was you, I would focus on being a master at a DM, or I'll focus on being a master at a number 10 or whatever it is, because that's where you're going to succeed. Because, number one, you're strong, you're powerful, you're this, you're that, whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? This is who you are. You may see something different. I'm not here to stop you. But my advice to you is understand who you are. Me, I'll be honest with you, didn't understand who I was as a player for 6 years, about 6-7 years. And I came in as a striker. I ended up leaving West Ham as a defensive midfielder, and they were trying to put me right back. And I never understood why. Like, I didn't get it. I used to think, oh, they're killing my talent. And then I realized it's because they see something in me that I don't see in me. Yeah. And I realized that, you know what, you're not that flair player. You're a technical player. You play 1 and 2 touch. You're strong. You understand how to read a game. So what's your best position for that? Centre midfielder. Master your role. Like Messi, masters his role. Ronaldo, master at his role. Neymar, master at his role. I can name you every player possible. And when you look at their attributes, they've mastered what they do.
Yeah. No, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Bro, that's big, and hopefully any young footballers, even coaches, you just gave coaches ideas and stuff that they can take away. So no, that's very big. But yeah, bro, in terms of growing up, who were obviously, I know your idols may have changed because obviously you went from football
position
to
change and stuff.
But who were the kind of people, whether it's presenting football or off the pitch or just in normal life, who were the people you kind of looked up to?
Do you want to go football first as a football player, or do you just want to go life?
We'll go life first. So it could be off the pitch. Who are your role models? And
off the pitch, I would say. So I probably started getting inspirations and mentors at a later age. So when I was younger, I didn't really have anybody that I wanted. It was all footballers back when I was a kid. Now I'm where I am. For me, hands down, nobody's done the presenting game on YouTube better than Poet and Vuj. No one's ever done it better. No one. I don't care what anybody can tell me. It's like Maradona and Pele and those. Messi are born from them. People like me in this presenting game, you're born from Poet and Vuj because they done this thing first. So they were inspirations. Will Smith was a big one for me. Even from Fresh Prince days. I think for me, where it cemented, I came across the interview when he was talking about how his dad was building a house, and what's it called? Before you build this house, you have to lay your first brick. And the house isn't built in a day. The house is built by laying brick by brick by brick. So Will Smith, Jay-Z, there's another one that a lot of people wouldn't know, but his name's called Bob Proctor. He's a really, really old white man. And he done Law of Attraction. But he's got a YouTube channel where he goes more deeper into life itself. And when you hear the man speak, like, I've never heard someone like that. We walk different paths. We've never lived the same stuff. You don't understand me and I don't understand you. But yet you've got me glued to this screen. My ears are pinned to this screen. I'm like, rah. Sorry, my battery was going low. But I want to be able to do that for other people. I want people to look at me and go, oh my God, like Lamar's talking sense. Like, oh my God, like this guy. So for me, Bob Proctor's one. But bro, I can go through a list, like a list.
Yeah, but the ones you've said, you've given your reasons, so no, that's big. Yeah, maybe on the pitch as well. When you were a player, who were the people you looked up to?
Oh, for me, my brother's probably going to kill me for this one. But for me, the best midfielder that's ever touched the game is Zinedine Zidane. And then after that, I would say Iniesta. Yeah. Those two players for me that, like, I haven't seen people grace a pitch like that in my life. And I never understood what 1 and 2 touch was until you watch them. I never understood how to shield a ball away from somebody, or knowing when to use a skill on a pitch and when not to. Like, they just show me things that I've never seen before. But funny story, my first ever inspiration or person who got me into football was Michael Owen, funny enough. Nice. Well, you started off as a striker, like you said, so you know what I mean? And he's a good, back in the day, he was I don't care what anybody can tell me. People can say what they want to say. For me, when it comes to strikers, and with Michael Owen at Liverpool, not many could touch him. He's probably one of the best. Why do you think he's won Ballon d'Or? One of the best strikers to ever do it, for me personally. So even though he's a snake now, I'm a Liverpool fan and I play for United. But for me, for him, Iniesta. Sometimes you got to chase the bag. And you know he was chasing the bag. When you start, for me, I hear you. But when it comes to selling my soul of playing for United, I'm not catching a bag. I'll rather go somewhere else and catch the bag somewhere else. But yeah, Xavi. But I think the whole era of the Barcelona era, where you had, I think it was Messi, Eto'o, Thierry Henry, Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, Puyol, Piqué, Abidal, Dani Alves. Yeah, that era there. Victor Valdez, you never said him. You got to big up the keeper as well. Yeah, to be fair, I have to give it to him because he was an amazing keeper at the time. And then you can move to, for me as well, like, I'm 26, so there might be some young people in it, but I'm 26 and I grew up on, like, I don't know if you know a midfielder called Guti Hernandez. I'm not that. This was the time where this is the time where there was Ronaldo, Figo, Zidane, Guti, Herrero, Roberto Carlos, Salgado. Like, yeah, that Real Madrid team. That Real Madrid team there, this is when Beckham entered it, and like, bro, like, it's even like you go to Dino, and for me, I've always looked at, there's 3 countries for me that really made football what it was for me, and that was Brazil, Spain, and Argentina. And pardon? I'm gonna say Argentina, but who are you gonna say? I'm gonna say Holland. Because I grew up on, my brother always taught me about total football. My brothers always taught me like about free fluid football and stuff like that. And they were one of the first evers to bring football to what it is. When Ajax had Van der Vaart and Ajax had Sneijder, and like, I can tell you all the players that Ajax brought through, and you lot people wouldn't even believe it. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, like, bro, like. No, it's true, it's true. Holland as a country, Van Persie, Klaus-Jan Huntelaar, Arjen Robben, I can name this for days. And for me, when you look at that era, you'll never ever get again. Ever in football, ever get again. So for me, when you look at inspirations in football, I find it hard to narrow it down to one. Like, it was just, let's just say that the era of 98 to about 2007, 2008, like that generation for me was the inspirational football regardless. Yeah, no, definitely, bro. Cool, bro. Let me finish on this question. In terms of you and going forwards, what's your kind of, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to
of ticked off by the time you say, yeah, I'm done with presenting?
Presenting. It's funny because I don't think I'll ever be done with it.
Yeah, and
Because
that's the
it's one
thing.
of,
It's a
I
job
don't think I
where
can.
the life expectancy, or not expectancy, but the lifespan is very long compared to like a football job where
100%.
you know by 35, 40 max you're looking to
You're
get
out.
out of the
Yeah,
game.
you're out. For me, I don't think I'll ever be done with presenting. I really want to go into way more like video production and bigger production values and stuff like that. I want to be able to be kind of like the voice of the footballer. I feel like not a lot of footballers get their chance to kind of say their story, say what they feel, be able to be a brand. And now I hate doing this, but when you go to America and you look at NBA, and you look at how the players are allowed to have a brand and be themselves, and people fall in love with who they are as a character. Do you get me? Like, think about, look where football's going, bro. You're wearing a PSG shirt that has a Jordan logo on it. You never see that. There's even talks about Adidas, the company Y3, being involved
Okay.
with football clubs. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like football is a fashion. Football is fashion. Football is a lifestyle. Football is it's more than a game. Like, it's more than a game to me. Do you know what I mean? And as the presenter, I want to be able to bring all of that to the forefront for everybody to enjoy it. Like, I want people to look at footballers as humans and not just as players. Do you know what I mean?
Lamar,
Like, if that's the best way to kind of like to put it, so even like I can even give you something that I'm trying to plan myself. Like, I don't really care if somebody takes it, that's fine, because you'll never be able to do it like I would, because it's originally from me. So there's a series that I want to do called Unwritten, where I get footballers and we get to talk about whatever they want, when they want, how they want. The same way we're having a conversation like this. Like, I want to be sitting on their sofa, or I want to be sitting in their house in a studio where we've just got 2 armchairs. We've even got water on the table, food on the table. It's such a comfortable environment where you are now seeing a player become himself. And that's what the link up is with West Ham, where we was able to get that. Like, a lot of West Ham fans didn't want Haller at the club. A lot of West Ham fans looked at Haller and they said, oh, he's not good enough, he's not this, he's this, he's that. After that interview, a lot of their fans said, no, I like him, I need him to stay. And that's what I want, because I need people to understand this is a guy who's French, he's come from a French league, he doesn't know English language too well, he doesn't know many people here. Imagine you with your job, you then move to, like, I don't know, Leeds, Manchester, or whatever it's like that. You're not really going to perform your best. You're not even going to feel your best. That's the same as them. Like, do you know what I mean? So for me, I just want to round it up, to conclude it, I am and I will be the voice of footballers and push football culture forward the way it needs to be pushed.
bro. Lamar, in terms of that, I'm going to speak to you about that because there's something in
Whenever
mind.
you're ready.
We're going to speak. But, bro, I just want to say a big thank you. And I'll be honest, this has been my favourite one in terms of I've been doing it for a
I'm
week
happy.
now. I've been
I'm
doing it
happy.
for a week, and I feel like yours was so real, so relatable. And I think a lot of people will get good inspiration off of this. So I just want to say a big thank you for jumping on and sharing your journey.
Nah, man, of course. Let me 2 seconds. Let me get this off because I don't want my phone to die. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's
But
good.
yeah, no, man, I'm glad. Honestly, for me, well, I don't get a chance to do this often because I'm always the one on your side and I'm always doing the interviews.
Yeah.
But with me, what I've realized with what life has taught me on the pitch and off the pitch, as a young dad, as somebody who's been through ups and downs, as somebody whose life, you could say, if people were in my shoes, I'm going to be real with you, some people wouldn't even last, bro.
Yeah.
What that has taught me is I've made it out and I can always give it back to someone else. I think the term is called pay it forward. Pay it forward. So for me, whenever I get a chance to be able to pay it forward, and I'm going to be real, by no means am I anywhere near where I want to be. I'm nowhere near it. I ain't got the biggest house. I ain't even got a car. Like, I'm not into that. Like, for me, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But the difference is between me and everybody else is I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I know where I'm going. And from like the last bit of advice I want to give, as I said, know where you want to go. I think everybody needs to have a destination, and it's not about how you get there. It's about when you get there. And you got to know that you're going to get there. Because a lot of people, they go through life where they have no direction. They have no path. They have no destination because they don't know what they want. They don't know what the end goal is. If like for me, my end goal was I'm gonna be a footballer. That didn't happen. Why didn't that happen? Because I didn't probably didn't necessarily believe in it and go after my ACL was done. So at the end of the day, what happens is the universe will say to you, okay, well, you don't believe in your end goal. Well, let's take that dream away from you. You have to believe in that thing wholeheartedly. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, bro. We got 1 minute 30 seconds before it's gonna cut out because after the hour it's done. So I just want to say everyone that's watched a big thank you because without you and without Lamar jumping on, this isn't possible. Lamar, like I said, big thank you, and we're definitely gonna link up and talk in the near future. But bro, I just want to say, I'm so glad you jumped on and shared this story. So everyone at home, thank you for jumping on. Tomorrow we got Sonny Hilton jumping on, who plays for Fulham and is England under-19s. So big up to him. And Lamar, we're over and we're out, bro. Thank you for jumping.
Peace, yeah. Everyone take care, man.